Have you ever noticed how silence can say more than words? The silence in a clinic room, when I look into the eyes of an older patient, weathered by decades of living, and see the quiet fear hidden beneath their gentle smile. The silence after I say, "Your blood sugar is high." The pause, the slow breath, the moment their shoulders drop. As if their body already knew, and their spirit had been waiting for me to say it out loud. Diabetes doesn't always arrive with a siren. Sometimes, it creeps in through fatigue, thirst, blurry vision, or a heaviness in the feet you can't quite explain. And when it finally speaks, through lab results or painful nerve twinges, it's often already shaping a person's daily life, their meals, their sleep, their freedom. For decades, we've been taught to fear sweetness, to view fruit with suspicion, to lump every bite of something naturally sweet into the same bucket as soda, candy, and pastries. And so I've watched countless patients do what they were told, cutting out fruits entirely, believing they were protecting themselves from sugar spikes, only to slowly grow more tired, more inflamed, more frustrated. But what if I told you, not all sweetness is a threat? What if I told you that in your everyday grocery store, there are two incredibly sweet, incredibly common fruits, ones that taste like summer itself, that are not only safe for diabetics, but may actually help regulate blood sugar, soothe inflammation, ease digestion, hydrate the body, and even support better sleep? And what if I told you that the very sweetness of these fruits, the part that made so many fear them, is actually what makes them powerful allies, when respected and paired properly? This is not a sales pitch. There is no product to buy here. This is a callback to wisdom rooted in biology, in human experience, and in quiet clinical revelations that have surprised even seasoned doctors like myself. So let's begin where most people don't, with trust in the body. With a reminder that nature rarely makes mistakes. And that when we pay attention, not just to the data, but to how we feel after we eat, our bodies often whisper the answers we've been looking for. Let me take you into the first fruit. One that conjures images of sunlit breakfasts, lazy picnics, and sticky fingers: melon. Cantaloupe. Honey-dew. Watermelon. Sweet, soft, juicy. Many seniors have been told to avoid them, especially watermelon, because of how sweet they taste. But here's what I tell my patients: sweetness in isolation is dangerous. Sweetness wrapped in fiber, water, and micronutrients? That's therapy disguised as a treat. You see, melons are more than 90% water. That means every bite is hydrating your tissues, lubricating your joints, and supporting your kidney's natural filtration system. For someone with diabetes, whose risk of dehydration is higher due to excess glucose pulling fluid from the cells, this hydration is more than comfort, it's medicine. I remember one patient, Mary, age 72. She came to me exhausted. Puffy ankles. Cramping calves. She avoided all fruits because her niece had told her, just stay away from sugar. But every morning she woke up feeling dry, her lips cracked, her legs sore. When I asked her to try just a small bowl of chilled cantaloupe with a pinch of cinnamon each morning, her face crinkled. But won't that spike my sugar? We tried it anyway. 7 days later, she called me and said, "Doctor, I don't know what's in that melon, but I haven't felt this light in weeks." The swelling in her feet had eased. Her digestion was better. She even said her skin looked less dull. The secret? It's not just the sugar in melon, it's the way it's packaged. Nature gave us sugar for energy, but she paired it with fiber to slow absorption, with water to aid processing, with potassium to balance sodium, with vitamin C to protect cells, and with a softness that says, "Eat me slowly. I'm not a rush. I'm a ritual." So I ask you this: the next time your body craves something sweet, could you try a slice of cantaloupe? Could you place it on a plate, sprinkle cinnamon, maybe pair it with a few almonds? Could you notice how your body feels 30 minutes later? This is not a cure, but it's a gentle step toward ease. And sometimes, that's all we need to begin healing. Now, let's move deeper into the story of melon, not just as a hydrator, but as a quiet stabilizer of blood sugar. There's a reason more endocrinologists are changing their view on melons. New research shows that melons contain a group of natural compounds, cucurbitacins, antioxidants, and specific types of sugars that behave differently from refined sugar. they're absorbed more slowly. They don't hit your pancreas like a truck. Instead, they knock gently. And that matters. Because what we fear most in diabetes management isn't the sweetness, it's the spike. The rapid surge and crash. But when something like melon is eaten on its own, or paired with protein, its glycemic response is much more stable than people assume. And hydration? It matters more than you think. Every cell in your body operates like a small machine, and when you're even mildly dehydrated, that machine runs sluggishly. Insulin receptors become less sensitive. Muscles cramp. The blood thickens slightly. And your heart works harder. But when you stay hydrated, when you nourish with water-rich foods like melon, things soften. The system flows. Blood sugar stabilizes not just from what you eat, but how your body processes what you eat. So yes, melon is sweet. But it's a gentle sweetness. A sweetness that carries healing with it. I want you to remember this the next time you open the fridge and wonder what you're allowed to eat. Let's move away from that word, allowed. Your body is not a battleground. It's a conversation. And melon, when chosen with intention, is a part of that healing dialogue. Now, allow me to gently turn the page, because while melon offers hydration and digestion support, the second fruit, perhaps even more overlooked, is one I cherish for a different reason. It's a fruit with quiet power. A little orb of tart sweet flavor. One that has helped more of my patients find comfort, regularity, and blood sugar balance than almost any other. It's the humble plum. Sweet, tangy, vibrant. And deeply misunderstood. Let me tell you what makes the plum special, not just to the tongue, but to the entire endocrine system. Because unlike high glycemic sweets that flood the bloodstream, plums offer a slow rise. A graceful energy curve. The kind that fuels without crashing. And the secret, again, is in the skin. That tartness you feel when you bite into a ripe plum? That's polyphenol, powerful plant compounds that fight inflammation, protect your arteries, and even support insulin sensitivity. But more than that, plums help your gut. Their soluble fiber feeds your beneficial bacteria. Their sorbitol content, mild and natural, acts as a gentle laxative. And if you've ever felt bloated, sluggish, or stuck after meals, a daily plum might be your unexpected ally. I once had a patient, Henry, age 68. Former bus driver. Big smile, bad digestion. He told me, "Doc, I haven't had a proper bowel movement in days, and I'm tired of prunes." We laughed. I asked him to try fresh plums instead, 1 or 2 a day, skin on, for 2 weeks. By the end of week 1, Henry said, "You're onto something. I feel lighter. Less swollen. And most importantly, he stopped dreading his meals." That's the power of a fruit that's been hiding in plain sight. But the story of the plum doesn't end in digestion. That's just where the healing begins. Because what most people don't realize is that plums, and I mean the everyday kind you walk past in the grocery store, can actually influence your blood sugar long after you eat them. How? Through what we call postprandial modulation, the way your body responds to glucose in the hours after a meal. Plums are rich in anthocyanins, the deep pigments that give them that ruby hue. These compounds have been shown in both animal and human studies to improve insulin sensitivity and help glucose enter cells more efficiently. Imagine that, nature's candy helping the very hormone we fear not working properly. And yet, plums never demand attention. They don't shout their benefits like superfood trends do. They don't need marketing. They just work. Silently. Slowly. Gently. That's why I often recommend plums as part of a late afternoon snack. That's when most seniors tell me they feel weakest, around 2 or 3 p.m., when blood sugar dips and fatigue rolls in like a heavy blanket. That's also the hour when cravings hit hardest, for sweets, for processed snacks, for comfort. But what if comfort could come in the form of a small, fresh plum? Try it. Take 1 plum, ripe but not mushy. Slice it. Pair it with a few walnuts or a thin slice of cheese. Sit by a window if you can. Eat it slowly. Let the taste pull you back to something simple. You'll find it's not just nourishment, it's a moment of grace. And your body? It will thank you in the hours that follow. This kind of ritual might seem too simple to matter. But it's these exact moments, tiny shifts in habit, that shape how our bodies age. Let me tell you something that changed the way I practice medicine. Years ago, I read a study from a team of geriatric nutritionists in Europe. They tracked older adults with prediabetes who ate plums regularly, some fresh, some dried. Over 12 weeks, not only did these patients report improved digestion and energy, but their markers of inflammation dropped. Their morning fasting glucose decreased modestly. And they described feeling less heavy. That phrase stuck with me. Not I lost weight. Not I followed a plan. Just, I felt less heavy. That's how we should measure success at this stage in life. Because diabetes isn't just a numbers game. It's a feeling. A weight. A pressure. On your joints. On your breath. On your mind. And if a sweet, juicy fruit can lift even a little of that weight, shouldn't we pay attention? Now, I want to share something personal. I had a patient named Lillian. 81 years old. Widow. Grandmother. Lillian was tired of being told no by life, no salt, no sugar, no movement, no fun. She said it felt like her diagnosis had stolen not just her health, but her joy. I'm already aging, she told me. Why does it feel like I'm being punished for it? That broke my heart. And maybe you felt that, too. I gave her 2 fruits to try, melon and plum. One in the morning, one in the afternoon. That's it. No meal plans. No calorie counting. Just fruit. Real fruit. Sweet, nourishing, hydrating, forgiving fruit. 6 weeks later, she came back to me smiling. Her blood sugar had improved slightly, not dramatically, but steadily. Her ankles were slimmer. Her digestion more regular. But what struck me most was what she said, "Doctor, I feel like myself again. I'm not afraid of food anymore." That's what matters. Because when we reclaim joy in our meals, when food becomes a friend, not a threat, everything changes. So many of us grew up believing that health was about restriction. That safety was about denying ourselves. But aging well, especially with diabetes, is about harmony. About choosing what supports us. About tuning into what brings peace. Plums support that peace in ways that go beyond the body. They're also rich in boron, a trace mineral that supports bone density. Yes, your bones. Especially important for postmenopausal women and men over 65. Studies show that people who consume plums regularly may experience less bone resorption, meaning less breakdown of bone tissue over time. That's astounding for something that fits in the palm of your hand. And it makes sense, doesn't it? A fruit that supports your gut, your blood sugar, your bones, and your hydration, all while tasting like dessert. That's no accident. That's nature doing her job. Now, before we continue, I want to share one of my favorite ways to prepare plums. I call it the evening ritual. Take 2 ripe plums. Slice them thin. Lay them on parchment paper. Sprinkle lightly with cinnamon, a spice known to reduce blood sugar spikes, and roast them in the oven at 350 degrees for 12 minutes. What comes out is warm, soft, and aromatic. The sugars caramelize slightly. The texture becomes velvety. And the smell, it's like childhood and comfort and hope all at once. This, my friend, is how healing should taste. You can eat it alone. You can pair it with a spoon of plain Greek yogurt or a few crushed walnuts. You can eat it with someone you love and say, "Let's try something new together." These are not just recipes. They are rituals. They are ways of saying to your body, "I haven't given up on you." And that's where real health begins. Let me also mention that when you eat fruit, any fruit, but especially sweet ones like plum and melon, context matters. Eat them slowly. Pair them with protein or healthy fat. Never on an empty stomach if you're prone to glucose spikes. Always pay attention to how you feel afterward. Not just physically, but emotionally. Because food isn't just fuel. It's memory. It's care. It's medicine. And the moment you start treating your plate like a prescription, chosen with intention, taken with reverence, you'll begin to feel the shift not only in your numbers, but in your life. So now, take a breath with me. You've just discovered two sweet, familiar fruits that doctors are beginning to embrace. Not as enemies of diabetes, but as gentle allies. Melon, with its hydrating calm. Plum, with its stabilizing strength. Both wrapped in fiber. Both designed by nature. Both asking only one thing from you: respect. And as we journey toward the end of this reflection, I'm going to show you how these two fruits, combined with a few simple, doctor-approved tips, can become part of a daily rhythm that not only manages diabetes, but helps restore dignity, vitality, and peace in your life. Let's bring everything we've learned into your daily life. Not in the form of a diet, but in the form of rhythm. You see, aging gracefully with diabetes isn't about cutting out everything you love. It's about designing your days with small moments of healing, the kind that feel effortless, but ripple through your body like quiet miracles. Let me walk you through a day built around what we've explored: melons and plums, and how they can support your energy, mood, and blood sugar from sunrise to sleep. You wake up. The morning light peeks through your window. Your body feels a little stiff, but you've slept. You breathe deeply and head to the kitchen. Instead of toast or sugary cereal, you open your fridge and see something waiting just for you: a bowl of chilled cantaloupe, already cut, soft and glowing in the light. You add a dollop of unsweetened yogurt, a pinch of cinnamon, and sit quietly as you eat. Every bite is hydrating, cooling, comforting. You're not just eating breakfast, you're telling your body, "Today, I choose ease." Later, mid-morning, you start to feel a little tense. Your shoulders tighten. You've been moving around or maybe just sitting too long. You pour yourself a glass of water and eat 3 cubes of frozen melon. They melt slowly on your tongue. The sweetness wakes you up, the cold calms your nervous system, and the fiber inside those cubes tells your insulin response, "We've got this under control." Lunchtime arrives. Maybe you've grilled a little chicken or prepared a light soup. You add a side salad with diced honeydew and a few sunflower seeds. The melon adds contrast, texture, sweetness, hydration, while the seeds add protein and fat to balance the sugars. You chew slowly, and by the time you finish, you feel nourished, not stuffed. Supported, not spiked. Afternoon slumps used to be your enemy. That old habit, reaching for soda or a cookie around 3 p.m., it used to be automatic. But now you've created a new ritual. You take a ripe plum, wash it gently, slice it into wedges, and place it next to a few almonds. The sweet and tart contrast is invigorating. You feel lighter. Your brain feels clearer. No crash. No guilt. And here's what's happening behind the scenes: the anthocyanins in that plum are helping your cells respond better to insulin. The almonds are slowing the absorption of sugars. Your body hums, balanced and steady. You may not notice the chemistry, but you feel the calm. Evening arrives. You're tired, but it's the good kind of tired. Not the fog of inflammation or glucose imbalance, but the gentle fatigue of a day lived with intention. Dinner is light. Maybe some grilled vegetables, a lean protein, and a side of warm roasted plums with cinnamon and olive oil. Yes, roasted fruit. Warm, soft, healing. And as night falls, your body prepares to rest. You could have gone to bed with heavy legs and a troubled stomach. But instead, you feel ready. Cared for. Nourished. This is not fantasy. This is food as support. Food as rhythm. Food as love. I want you to understand something that most people forget. When we talk about managing diabetes, we're not just talking about blood sugar. We're talking about circulation, nerve health, vision, memory, strength, joy. And both melon and plum quietly support all of that. They hydrate. They reduce oxidative stress. They support digestion. They lower inflammation. They ease your cravings without feeding your disease. And they do it without stealing your joy. Let me speak plainly to you now, like I would to someone I've known for years. You deserve better than fear. You deserve to enjoy your meals. You deserve to stop tiptoeing around the dinner table, afraid of every bite. Because when you learn to listen to your body, not the old rules, not the shame, not the judgment, but your body, it will guide you. With gentleness. With signals. With relief. So here is your simple experiment. Choose one. Melon or plum. Just one. Add it into your life once a day for 5 days. Don't rush. Don't force. Just notice. Notice how you feel afterward. Notice your digestion. Your mood. Your joints. Your energy. Your sleep. And write it down. Because when you track your body's response, you stop guessing. You start partnering. That's when healing becomes possible, not as a goal, but as a relationship. If it helps, keep a little fruit journal. Not for counting calories, but for observing care. Write things like: had cantaloupe this morning. Legs felt less stiff. Ate plum after lunch. Didn't crave cookies afterward. Froze melon cubes. Loved it after my walk. Simple notes. Simple truths. And if you live with someone, invite them to try it with you. Sharing this journey, even silently, brings connection. It reminds you that you are not in this alone. I also want to leave you with one final tip, one that's helped many of my patients manage their glucose and feel more confident around sweet foods. Pair every fruit with a partner. Fruit plus protein. Fruit plus fat. Fruit plus fiber. This slows digestion. It balances blood sugar. It creates safety in your system. Examples? Melon plus almonds. Plum plus walnuts. Cantaloupe plus Greek yogurt. Honeydew plus pumpkin seeds. Plum plus cheese. Melon plus chia pudding. Even plum slices baked with cinnamon plus a sprinkle of flaxseed. These aren't recipes. These are reminders that balance is possible. That you don't have to say goodbye to sweetness forever. You just have to say yes to structure. Now, as we come to a close, I want you to hear this with your heart. Aging does not mean fading. It means refining. And living with diabetes does not mean living in fear. It means living with awareness. It means choosing foods that work with your biology, not against it. It means saying, yes, I may be over 60. But I am still becoming. Still healing. Still worthy of feeling good in my body. That is what melon and plum symbolize to me. Sweetness without sacrifice. Health without punishment. Small acts of care that add up to a body that works better, feels safer, and moves more freely. So take this day, this hour, this moment, and begin. One bite. One bowl. One breath. Slice the melon. Choose the plum. Let this be the day you stop fearing what you eat and start building a relationship with it. One that is rooted in understanding, respect, and gentle experimentation. And if today's words spoke to you, even a little, let me ask this: share your story. In the comments. With your friends. With your family. Your voice might be the spark someone else needs to change their life. Type melon. Type plum. Type the word hope. Whatever speaks to you. Because your journey matters. And you are not invisible. Not here. Here, we care. Here, we support. Here, we say. You are still becoming. You are still powerful. And you are still, absolutely, worth nourishing. So go now, sweet friend. Open your fridge. And begin. If this video helped you see fruit in a new light. If you feel more hopeful about managing your health. Then don't stop here. Tap the video on your screen now to uncover the 5 biggest mistakes seniors make when trying to eat healthier with diabetes. And how to gently fix them, one step at a time. And remember, your story matters. Leave a comment below, just one word, melon or plum. Because your voice could be the light someone else is waiting for. You're not alone. You're still becoming. And you are deeply worth caring for.